Continuing our celebration of the Moonwatch at 50, today we further explore the icon of Amiga's history. The Amiga Speedmaster Professional is probably one of the most accurate to original and obtainable Speedies available on the Amiga website today. There's a mutual agreement between watch collectors that the story and emotional connection behind watches are pretty big reasons as to why we like certain pieces. And coming in at £3,810, the Speedmaster is a watch that is up there with the true greats when it comes to stories and provenance. If you're a chronograph guy looking to get into the luxury watch market, the Speedy is probably near the top of your list. But what do you need to know before you pull the trigger and add one to your watch box? The classic Speedy we have with us today comes in at 42mm wide with a thickness just shy of 14mm. If we exclude the Highley crystal for a moment and just look at the physical stainless steel case and bezel, then it comes in around 12mm. Combine this with the Speedmaster's ability to hide most of that thickness into the wrist, and you're left with quite a deceiving thickness stat, and, more importantly, a watch that is framed nicely on the wrist. As with most watches, the proportions of the Speedmaster aren't decided on just the case width and thickness. The lug-to-lug length also plays a part, and here on the Speedmaster, it's a pretty big part to play. 48mm is a magic number, and it massively impacts how it wears, in a good way. If you're looking at going for this watch, but have concerns about the size, just know that, in reality, it wears more like a 40mm. A tachymeter scale sitting outside of the dial and on the outer bezel means the actual real estate of the dial is taken up with the core timing and chronograph functions of the watch. The tachymeter construction and Highley crystal really adds to create the illusion of two clear parts of the Speedmaster's case. It's almost as if the case, sides, lugs, crown and pushers is one section, and the tachymeter, crystal and dial is part two. This disconnect is a fundamental part of the Speedmaster's stereotypical look. The dial of the Speedmaster is a matte black one. If you're used to glossy black enamel dials, the Speedy will almost feel like a soft grey once on the wrist and out in the world. Sunken into the matte dial, we find three evenly balanced subdials. These sit relatively centred to the dial, just kissing the end of the 3, 6 and 9 indices. Compare the subdial positions to the likes of the Speedmaster Reduced, and you can really start to appreciate the Speedmaster Professional's sense of balance. Commanding the dial of the Speedmaster, we have bold, high contrasted painted white hands. For a chronograph, these are actually pretty legible. Once the loom on the hands and indices is charged, it further contributes to that legibility. And of course, the most dominating hand on the dial is the chronograph one, that skims the edge of the dial effectively. The final piece of the puzzle for the Speedmaster's aesthetic is the all deep black aluminium tachymeter. In terms of durability, a ceramic bezel would be much better here, but it's hard to not enjoy the simplicity and readability of the aluminium one. It really helps to add definition to the whole watch's look. This Amiga Speedmaster Professional is powered by the 1861 hand-wound movement. As you'd expect from Amiga, this movement is sharp and crispy to wind. A genuine quality engine inside this world-renowned watch. On the wrist, the Speedmaster has an overwhelming tool watch feel to it. You might think the likes of the Rolex Submariner would be the same, but in comparison, the Submariner is smaller and feels much more compact. The Speedmaster feels like a real piece of dependable kit that you know you're wearing. Looking directly down at the watch, a few key things will jump out at you. The case has a great defined curve to it from the lug to lug, which strongly reminds me of space age design. The biggest contributing factor to this is a large presence of polishing on the side of the case. The Highley crystal may be the more authentic choice to go for, but it does add further height to the watch, also making it more reflective. I personally look at the Speedmaster as a must-have for a collection. Whether you have 3, 5, 10 or even 20 plus watches, in a rotating collection, the Speedmaster feels right at home. Due to the monotone colours of the watch, simple design and classic style, the Speedmaster loves a good strap change. Here are some of our top suggestions, but as always, stay tuned to the online magazine and the channel for a further look at a huge range of straps. Let's get into it. First up, let's take a look at a few classic marine Nationale NATOs. Here, the grey with a yellow stripe adds a well-deserved pop of colour to the watch. The grey of the strap really complements that matte black dial. The Swiss style keepers also really match the quality of the piece. Much like the grey and yellow, the black and grey are a perfect match for the Speedmaster. Both colours complement different parts of the watch once again. The black picks up on the black tachymeter, and the subtle grey stripe matches that black dial. Next up is a personal favourite strap of mine for the Speedmaster, and it's the Geckota Lenchwick Racing in brown. The Horween Chrome XL deep brown leather comes with a selection of evenly positioned perforations throughout the strap. With matching stitching as well, it means the attention is kept all on the Omega's dial. An effective strap at complementing a watch. In fact, this looks great on almost any chronograph. The vintage Highley is a real classic in our range. The generous padding around the lugs is ridiculously soft and comfortable, and due to the Speedmaster's size, it matches the thickness of the watch perfectly. Here the dusty grey option adds a nice amount of warmth. A real solid everyday option right here. So, why is the Speedmaster such a popular choice? In my personal collection, I only have the one chronograph, and that was a gift. Most people fall in love with the Speedmaster mainly because of the story, and the fact that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin had one strapped to their wrists while on the moon. And, as stories go, it's pretty hard to beat how incredible the moon landing was for the world. So to be able to buy a watch that is so well connected to that story, and played such an important part, I do get why people go crazy for the old Speedmaster. For someone who isn't completely enamoured with the connection between NASA and Omega, a classic Speedmaster Professional feels like a bit of a safe bet. If it was me, and I was in the market for a timeless Speedy that was versatile, manual wind, still captured the charm of the original Moonwatch, and just happened to have a smaller, different case, with more classic hands, and was £200 less, I'd go for the 39.7mm Speedmaster. To find out more about the Speedmaster, the Apollo 11 mission, and one man's personal connection to both, you'll want to check out Richard's little two-parter on the online magazine. We'll leave a link below. If you're still watching, you're probably more than likely pretty certain that the Speedmaster is the watch for you. Before you go and pick up the watch, here's a final rundown of the key things to consider. Firstly, the 42mm width is a deceiving one. The lug-to-lug length is the most important stat here, so if you're unsure on the size, rest assured it will wear more like a 40mm. For the price you pay, you can't really get your hands on a more iconic watch from a well-known, respected brand. It's universally accepted amongst all circles of watch collectors, meaning you can feel really proud about what is on your wrist. For a chronograph, the watch has a seriously impressive amount of legibility and usability. And finally, the Speedmaster loves a good strap change, so you can really make it your own. For the price tag, reputation, respect and prestige the Speedmaster commands, not many watches come close. And if you still like the watch, but you wish it had a splash of red, a blue bezel, or was solid gold, Omega have you covered with a huge selection of limited edition models. To find out more about the Omega Speedmaster, don't forget to check out our online magazine, as well as of course the Omega website. We'll leave links to both below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.